just like to make the point that we're very fortunate that His Majesty has allowed us to use Buckingham Palace for this event, and I need to say that.
Princess Anne just detonated what might be the most elegant atomic bomb in royal family history. And the thing that makes this situation absolutely wild isn't just the heirloom itself. It's that Camilla's unhinged reaction essentially confirmed everything Anne had been quietly investigating for months. If you're trying to prove you had nothing to do with erasing Diana's legacy, maybe don't scream at the top of your lungs in front of 200 witnesses. Let's break down this genuine royal madness. Anne's secret master plan to honor Charlotte with Princess Diana tiara. The scene was intended to be a completely unassuming, small and intimate ceremony held behind the heavily guarded gates of Buckingham Palace. Picture this. It's May 2026, and the late spring sunlight streams through the massive, intricate stained glass windows. The entire royal family is gathered for what they had been told was a modest event honoring Princess Charlotte on her 11th birthday. That was supposed to be the entirety of the agenda. A happy birthday celebration, some cake, smiles for the cameras, and the maintenance of the famously stiff upper lip that the institution is known for. However, Princess Anne had different, deeply strategic plans in mind. The more you look at what she actually did compared to the reactions of everyone in the room, the clearer it becomes that this was never just a simple birthday party. Anne stepped onto the elevated dais with her trademark resolute demeanor. She wore a perfectly tailored dark suit, her hair pulled back in a severe, no-nonsense bun that she has maintained for decades, and her sharp eyes seemed capable of cutting through solid glass. In her hands was an old, undeniably historic red velvet box, exactly the kind that does not contain casual, everyday gifts. Next to her stood 11-year-old Princess Charlotte, dressed in a simple yet elegant white dress. Her golden blonde hair caught the light, and she bore those unmistakable Spencer features that everyone instantly recognizes as belonging to Diana. The grand hall fell completely silent. Then Anne spoke. She didn't hedge her words or soften her message with diplomatic language. In front of the entire assembled family and the highest-ranking members of the royal household, she boldly declared that she was bestowing upon Princess Charlotte what she referred to as the Diana honorific title. According to an authentic news portal that somehow leaked insider details from palace staff that very evening, her exact words conveyed that Charlotte would inherit the spirit of compassion, courage, and closeness to the public that her grandmother once represented. Then she opened the heavy red velvet box and revealed the tiara. This was not just any tiara from the vast royal vaults. It was intimately and inextricably connected to Diana. It was the same tiara she had worn during her most meaningful and groundbreaking charity tours, moments where she was photographed holding children affected by dangerous landmines or sitting with AIDS patients at a time when the global stigma around the disease was still overwhelming. This tiara carried the immense weight of everything Diana represented during her complex public life. Anne placed it into Charlotte's small hands and stated clearly that it would serve as a permanent reminder that Diana's legacy lives on within the bloodline of the family. Scattered applause broke out, accompanied by astonished whispers spreading through the echoing hall like wildfire. Kate Middleton gripped Prince William's hand so tightly that her knuckles turned stark white, desperately trying to maintain a composed, camera-ready smile while her eyes betrayed shock. King Charles sat frozen in the center, wearing an incredibly complex and tortured expression, looking like a man torn between being deeply moved by the surprise tribute to his late ex-wife and being absolutely terrified of what might happen next. The astonishing moment, Camilla exploded in front of the entire family. And then what happened next happened. Camilla suddenly jumped up from her ornate seat, causing the antique chair to creak loudly. Her face turned bright red, not from emotion or tears, but from shockingly intense rage. Her voice pierced the formal atmosphere, making the trained courtiers flinch. She shouted that it was entirely unacceptable for Anne to make this decision without talking to her first, and she demanded that the entire presentation be canceled immediately. Then she said something that changed everything. The tiara does not belong to anyone in this young generation. This statement raised a big question. Why doesn't it belong to this generation? Who does Camilla believe it belongs to? And why is she so fiercely angry about the idea of Diana's granddaughter getting a piece of jewelry tied to her grandmother's charitable work? Her intense reaction goes far beyond a simple objection. If it were just about royal protocol and Anne not following the right channels, we would expect irritation, maybe a passive-aggressive comment leaked to the press later. but a grown woman losing control in front of hundreds, pointing, shaking with anger, and insisting that Diana is gone and everyone should move on. That's not just a protocol issue. That's raw panic. What makes Anne's response intriguing is that she didn't react at all. She stood still, completely calm, looking down at Camilla with cold, sharp eyes. The corner of her mouth lifted slightly in what some people saw as a faint smile that went unnoticed by the crowd. That smile is significant. It's not the smile of someone who has just been attacked. It's the smile of someone who has been waiting for this reaction. Someone who set a psychological trap and watched the target walk right into it. William, nearby, felt his heart race as he realized this was more than just a birthday event. His aunt was sending a powerful message to the royal family that Diana's legacy could not be erased easily, and she was doing it in the most public way possible. A clandestine investigation revealing decades of royal archive erasure. The situation is compelling not just because of the public confrontation, but because of what led up to it. Princess Anne had spent months quietly investigating in the background. She gathered explosive information and uncovered a troubling pattern of behavior that has gone on for decades. Anne didn't just decide one day to reveal a shocking truth about her family. She had been preparing for this moment for at least 6 months. During that time, she contacted retired palace insiders, searched through hidden archives, and collected information as discreetly as possible. Her goal was clear: to bring Diana's often hidden legacy back into public view. A detailed blog post by a royal archivist group outlines what Anne discovered, and it is quite disturbing. Many important documents, personal letters, and significant mementos belonging to Diana have vanished from the royal archives. These included irreplaceable letters she wrote to William and Harry as children, pieces of jewelry she wore during important hospital visits, and her personal diaries and private photos. Anne checked archive records and found that these sensitive files were listed as existing in 1998, 2005, and even as late as 2012. Yet when she looked for them recently, they were completely missing. There were no records showing when they were taken or who authorized their removal. There was simply a huge gap where these important documents used to be. This is not a coincidence. Secure historical archives do not lose items, especially not the British Royal Archives, which historians carefully manage. The missing items were not everyday documents, but crucial parts of Diana's story, showing her compassion and the impact she had on the world. Anne's conclusion was clear and frightening. Someone tried to erase Diana's positive influence. They wanted to reduce her to just a sad, short chapter in royal history instead of recognizing her as a lasting symbol of compassion and courage that inspired millions. The smoking gun USB drive and the secret recording of Camilla's orders. Where did Anne find clear proof of her suspicions? It all goes back to a secret meeting several months before a significant ceremony. This meeting marked the shift from vague suspicion to solid, undeniable evidence. On a dreary afternoon, Anne arrived alone at a plain house on the outskirts of London. She wore a wide-brimmed hat and a dark coat to avoid being recognized. The man waiting for her was Edward Langford, a former archive assistant to Diana, who had retired in 2008. He was in his late 70s, had thinning white hair, and appeared slightly hunched from age and years of hard work. When Anne sat in his dim living room, he looked around nervously before speaking. His voice was cautious, revealing years of guilt. He told her he had thought long and hard before contacting her, understanding that what he was about to reveal could put him in danger. However, he felt he could no longer keep these dark secrets to himself. Edward then led Anne to a small, musty room in his basement, opened a heavy old metal safe, and took out a thick bundle of documents. These documents had been carefully wrapped in moisture-proof plastic for over a decade. Inside were photocopies of many original files that were supposedly destroyed. They included minutes of letter retrievals, lists of removed mementos, and specific instructions for their disposal. The most important item in the safe was a small black USB drive. Edward explained that he secretly recorded a high-level archive meeting in 2005 while still working in the palace. He hid a recorder in his jacket pocket because he suspected something unethical was happening with Diana's belongings. Anne plugged the USB drive into her secure laptop. As the grainy recording began, the atmosphere in the room changed. A woman's voice, clear and cold, came out of the speakers. "Dispose of everything. All letters, photos, and mementos related to Diana. Leave absolutely nothing that could remind the public of her. This is a direct order from above. I do not want to see them resurface." It was definitely Camilla's voice. The recording dated back to 2005, the same year she married Charles and joined the royal family. Anne sat still in the basement, gripping the table so hard her knuckles turned white. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not from sadness, but from a mix of rage and satisfaction. After months of hard work and chasing leads, she finally had what she needed. She held the undeniable evidence. King Charles hands down the ultimate punishment of complete isolation. Anne organized Charlotte's birthday ceremony for a specific reason. She wanted to provoke Camilla's reaction to the tiara and bring a hidden issue into the open. Anne had the evidence she needed to support her claims. 3 tense weeks after the public ceremony, King Charles called a secret meeting with senior members of the royal family. The atmosphere was thick with tension from the start. There was no room for excuses or palace spin. Anne entered the room with a thick folder of documents and a black USB drive, determined to clarify the truth. She announced it was time to address everything and stressed she aimed to protect the family's historical truth, not create division. She placed the documents on the heavy mahogany table and pressed play on the recording. Camilla's voice from 20 years before filled the silent room, demanding the destruction of Diana's legacy. Camilla turned pale and struggled to remain calm, her trembling hands betraying her. King Charles listened to the recording, showing deep disappointment. Anne presented the evidence clearly and systematically. Photocopied documents, meeting minutes, witness lists, and sworn testimonies. All of it pointed to one truth. Camilla had ordered the erasure of Diana's legacy. Camilla tried to defend herself, but her arguments fell apart under the weight of Anne's proof. Every excuse she offered became irrelevant as Anne provided more evidence. When Charles finally spoke, he sounded weary but firm. He directly told Camilla that she had gone too far and expressed disbelief at her betrayal. The room felt heavy and everyone found it hard to breathe. Camilla sat in silence, realizing she had lost. The fear she had buried for 2 decades was finally exposed. The royal family decided to keep the matter private to avoid a scandal that could harm the monarchy. However, everything changed behind closed palace doors. Charles declared that Camilla was completely isolated. She had to move out of the main living areas and live in the distant eastern wing of the palace. She was also permanently barred from any official royal activities and stripped of her public role. Though the storm in the royal family seemed to calm for public appearances, the effects of Anne's revelations would last a long time. The tiara was not just a piece of jewelry. It represented the effort to unveil a hidden truth, ensuring Diana's legacy would continue and showing that those who try to alter history will eventually face the consequences. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment about what you think of Anne's plan, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.